Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to make a simple game which will be an implementation of the previous lessons that we've treated, including the if, the while loop, and generating a random number. So if you haven't watched those videos and you have no idea about how to generate a random number using the if and the while loop, and try and go back to watch those videos and come back to this game. But if you have much idea about those control flow in Java, then this game is for you. And this is how the scope of the game is going to be. We're going to develop a game which will allow user to guess a number from 0 to 20, allow user to enter a value till the guess is right, show a message or show a game over message if the guess is up to 5 times. Now this is the algorithm or the steps that you are going to follow. So the first step is to ask for username and display a welcome message. Now request for permission to start a game. So if the user accepts, then the game will start. If the user declines, then the game will not start until he or she accepts. Now generate a random number and ask the user to guess the number. Now if the user's guess is higher than the random number which is generated, we ask the user to guess lower. But if the user's guess is lower than the random number generated, then we need a higher guess, so we display that to the user. Then after everything, we show a congratulatory message or a congratulations to the winner that you've won. Then if it doesn't happen that way, which means you literally lose, then we show a game over message and we show the number of times tried. That's after 5 times. But if there is a win, the number of times you've tried before winning too should be displayed. So make sure you stop the video or pause the video and try it. Then you come and check my solution. So if you are done with it, you check if it matches with mine, or if you have any problem, you can follow mine as well to do yours. So let's get started now. So let's start by creating the scanner class. So scanner equals new scanner system.in, which should be taken care of. The values will be taken from the user. Now let's give a simple welcome message. So welcome to the random guess game. Okay, before this, let's take the user's name. So let's say enter your name. Then we have the name stored in a string variable. So string name equals scanner.next int. Oh, sorry, dot next line. So this will be our name. So we can say hello. We get our name. So welcome to the random guess game. Now let's get the user's permission to start a game. So let's give some space to make our code a bit readable. So let's comment here, and the comment should be display of the initial message. Now let's take user's permission here. So taking user's permission to start game. So to take user's permission, we tell the user one of the choices. So these are the choice. So let's use a tab to tab the code properly. So one will be for start, then 2. I need to print new line, 2, quit. Now let's take the user's response here. So let's keep it in a, it will be an int choice is equal to scanner.next int. So this is the user's choice now. Now let's loop it to get the choice. So if choice is not equal to 1, that means it's 2. We keep asking the user if we should start a game. So let's copy this and let's paste this here. So we are saying that if the choice is not 1, any other value that is entered, this will be shown because the condition isn't met. Then from there we take the choice again equals scanner.next int. So if the choice now is 1, then we break out of this loop. Then it comes down to the next line here. Now in the next line here, we'll be generating our random number. So let's create the random class now. So random equals new random. Now if you are using something like um NetBeans or Eclipse, the random will not be generated automatically. If you are using a special plugin which generates it for you, fine. But if you are not, just come over here and click on Alt Enter, hit Alt Enter, and it will import it for you. Or you go up here and come and type java.util.random. Then you can come back. Now let's generate number. So int x, so we are storing the number inside x, is equal to random.next int. Now we saw in the previous video that generating just an int like that, the value will be very big, a billion, a positive billion or a negative billion. So we need a bound or a boundary. So it should be from 0 up to 20. We want 20 inclusively, so we add +1 outside. Now we take the user's input, so int user choice, let's name it user choice, is equal to scanner.next int. So this is the user's choice. Now we need to implement this part where the number of times the user will try will be inclusive if the user has won, or if the time tried is up to, then we end the game. So we are going to declare other variables here which will take care of those parts. So let's declare the first one, which is int times tried. So let's give times tried to be equal to 0. So initially you haven't tried yet. Then boolean has 1 to check if you have won or not. So let's give it initially false, which means you haven't won. Then boolean should finish. Then let's give this one also false, since the game is not yet over. Now here we will need a while loop which will be taking care of all the part for us. So while not should finish, so that means while we are not yet over, then the time strike should be increasing if the game is not yet over. So that means the should finish is true, then time strike is plus. So we increment the time by 1. Now we check if the time stride is less than or equal to 5. Okay, let's make it less than 5 so that it will start from 0 up to 5. Sorry, 0 up to 4, which should be 5 times. So if the time stride is less than 5, then we can keep on our game. But if it is not, then in the else case, the should finish will now be equal to, sorry, true. Then that means we are going to loop out of this game now because it's not this and the condition is true for the game to be over. Now inside the time stride, let's write the condition. So if the time stride is less than 5, let's check if the guess is right. So if um user choice is equal to x, then that means has 1, you have 1. So as 1 is equal to true, then we should finish the game. So should finish 2 will be equal to true. In this case, if the case isn't met, then we need another else if statement. So in the else if statement, let's check if whether the user's choice is lesser than s or greater than x. So if it is lesser than x, then we ask the user to guess higher. So we see guess higher. Now we take the choice again. So user's choice will be equal to scanner.next int. Now let's check if it is lower. So if user's choice, sorry, this is lower, then this is higher, greater than x. So if the choice is greater than x, we say guess lower. Then we take the user's choice again equals to scanner.next int. So there's a problem here. Let's check it out. So unwrap condition is always true. So they are right. It will be definitely true because if it is not equal to or less than, then it will definitely be greater than. So we just use the else case. So in the else case, this is what will happen. So after everything, then we know we've won or we've lost. So to know that, we come out here to check if we have won. So if it is has won, then we give a congratulations that congratulations, congratulations, you tried. So let's give the times tried times. That means you've won. But if you haven't won, in that case, that means you lose. So we give you sorry, game over. Game over. So let's do this on a different line. So we can see the value is x. So now our code is complete. Now let's come back and let's look at what you're doing here. So at the first place, we have a scanner class to take our name. Then after taking the name, we printed or we welcome the user. Then from there, we take the user's permission to start a game. So the permission is 1 to start or 2 to quit. But inside the loop here, we want our 1. If the 1 is met, then we'll continue. But if it isn't met, we will still be here waiting for the user to select 1. Now we declare our random class and we give it an initial value or a boundary from 0 up to 20. Now we take the user's choice. Then we declared some other 3 variables responsible for the number of times we've tried, whether we've won or not, then if we should finish the game or not. So inside our while loop here, we have not should finish. So that means if the value here is not false, then the time tried should be increased by 1. Now it will be increasing until we've got to this. If the increment is less than 5, that means we are still true to play our game. But else, then should finish is now true for us to loop out of this to make the condition now false. So inside the times try, if it is less than 5, we want to check if the choice of the user now is not the randomly generated value. If it is equal to it, then you have won, then it is now true. Then we should finish the game. That means we are looping out of this. Else, if the choice is less than x, that means your choice is lesser than what you've guessed. Then we say guess higher. But if it is greater than the x, then we ask you to guess lower. Then we take back the choice again. Now, when we come down here, we check if you've won or not. If you've won, then we give you a congratulations that you've won during the number of times that you've tried. Else, the game is over and the value will be given. So let's run this. So it says enter your name. So let's enter a name like, okay, let me enter my name. So let's give it Nathan. So hello Nathan. Welcome to the random guess game. Wow, I didn't indent the code very well. So we'll go back to debug that later. Now let's enter a different value. So it says that select one of the choices. So whenever you enter any other value, it will ask you until you enter one. Then we are good to go now. So you can see it is blinking, which means we have an error somewhere. We have to go and debug. So after this, we just start by taking this. So we need to print a message to the user. So let's say enter a random number. Now let's come back to correct the first one so that we run the program again. So hello Nathan. Okay, so let's rerun our project now. So you have Nathan. Now, okay, let's start now. So enter a random number. So let's enter a number like, so let's start from 1. So it says that guess higher. Let's start from 2, guess higher. Let's say 5, guess higher. 15, guess higher. 18. Sorry, game over. So the value is 16. Now, basically, this is not a good way in guessing. Okay, we have algorithms and we have to use an efficient way to guess. So let's try an efficient way to see if we can get our value. So let's enter the same name again and let's enter one to start. So the middle of 20 is 50, so let's use 15. So it says that we should guess lower. Sorry, middle of 20 is not 15, it's rather 10. I made a mistake, sorry for that. So let's try 10. It says that guess lower again. Let's come to 5. Now it should be in between 5 and 10, which will be 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we have how many more options? We have 2 more, but we have 4 values. So let's try 8. So we've won. So congratulations, you tried 4 times. So this is a very simple, interesting game. It's a lot of fun and you can implement it in a graphical user interface, which we'll be looking at that. So if you like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel as I bring more projects ahead and you enjoy writing programs in Java. So let's try this one more time again. Let's give another name here, Brad. Now let's start. So enter a random number. So let's start from the middle, which is 10. Let's guess higher. Let's go to 15. Guess higher. Let's go to 19. So guess lower. Let's get 17 and see. Still higher. So definitely the answer is 18. So let's see. What? Oh, now there is a problem here since we didn't add equal to this place. So we should bring an equal to here. So this equal to will take care of the error for us. So thank you for watching this video up to this part. If you like a copy of this, I'll copy it and paste it in the description, and make sure you try it out, and see you in the next video. Thank you.